Today's podcast is brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. You never know what tomorrow may bring. That's why it's important to get the right insurance coverage today. At Kentucky Farm Bureau, we deliver the protection and peace of mind your family deserves. In fact, we've been providing folks in the bluegrass with dependable service since 1943. To request a free quote, find your local KFB insurance agent at mykfbagent.com. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm packing. I'm getting all my stuff together.
It's said every other year we got to pack warm clothes this time because we going to
Anaheim, California.
California.
Yeah, so we're going to the American Farm Bureau annual meeting where all the state farm bureaus and Puerto Rico come together to do policy, all those things, and also lots of awards, lots of cool contests and stuff like that, cool speakers. I think Tebow's coming.
What?
We're getting Tim Tebow to come to this thing. It's pretty cool. But I wanted to talk to you today because you've done a few of these. I've done a bunch of these.
Yeah, like 20.
I've done a lot. Favorite location of the American Farm Bureau annual meeting?
Okay, this is going to sound like, of course it is, but there's reasons.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico was the bomb.
Puerto Rico was really cool.
But here's the thing. You have to understand my first one was Atlanta. So
Atlanta's
like the
great.
bar,
Atlanta's great.
The bar was the floor because everyone on the way there was like, the last time we were here, it snowed 1 inch and everybody got scared and the roads shut down and we had to fight over a vending machine. Was all of that dramatic and probably half of my new employee hazing? Sure. But I went into Atlanta thinking this place was a dumpster fire. It's a nice place.
Oh, Atlanta's
Georgia won
lovely.
the national championship.
Yeah.
It was cool. We
It's-
were there.
yeah.
It's all cool. Puerto Rico, though, was the year after, and everyone was like, but it won't be Hawaii. And I was like, bet. So me and my husband went.
It's great. It was great.
It was awesome.
It's my favorite too. It was really neat. My wife's gone to a couple of them. She wasn't able to go to this one in particular, and I really hated that she didn't go. But yeah, I think that it was really, really one of the neat places. And I'm pretty excited about going to Anaheim. I think that's really neat.
Are you a Disney guy?
I'm a Disney guy. I've been to Disney a lot with
Really?
with the daughter's cheerleading stuff. So
Oh,
but I've never
yeah.
been to Disneyland. So
I don't plan to probably ever go back to Disneyland unless someone from work gets me to Disneyland, you know?
Yeah.
So, we're going to do it.
We're going to hit
a day.
Disneyland. But so we got some great guests. Speaking of contest at American Farm Bureau today, we have the couple that won the Young Farm Family Contest here in Kentucky, and they're going for the Achievement Award at the national level, competing against similar families like theirs all over the country. So I think folks are going to love our guests today and get to know them a little more.
Yep, wanted you guys to get to hear from them. They compete this upcoming weekend and hopefully into the next week, the more they get along. So we are going to get you to Taylor and Hannah Jones. Without further ado, I'm Renee Carrico.
And I'm Matt Hilton.
Let's get rural. Where's the baby today?
His parents. I had to
Nice.
think about it for a
For a
second.
second, I was like, do we know where the baby is?
Where are they?
It was scary.
Yeah.
Are you on maternity leave? Oh.
No, back to work.
Back at it.
Yeah,
Was that a good thing?
yeah, it is nice.
Okay.
To have a little break. Breaks work.
My
Yeah,
my friends that have multiples always say the first one I cried when I went back, but the second one, they're both so needy that they were like, I kind of needed a minute.
honestly, I
I need to go
agree.
back.
The second one going back was like, I've already been through it. Like, no, it's no big thing.
Yeah, the second one is amazing. I think the doctors treat you different because you had one. She can do it. Yeah, she's good. That was
She can do it.
right. It was weird because my wife had the first one. They were testing everything, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And I just figured this is what they do because I've never done this before myself, right? And then the second one, they're like, "You're good. We'll see you in 9 months." That's what it felt like. You're like, okay, whatever.
Well, for me, where I'm a nurse, I feel like they were like, oh, yeah. Like the first one, they're like, you can do this. And I'm like, I have no idea what's happening here.
I've never even seen it. I've never done it. Yeah.
But what type of nurse are you?
I see you.
So you are, I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
you have seen some of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was about to say, I always think I have a friend that's doesn't do anything with babies. So when she had hers, they did the same thing, and she was like, I don't do this. Like, I'm not with the pregnancy ward. Like,
Well, you'll also learn the things you're worried about. You're like, I learned in the first kid they're kind of made of rubber. They're
Yeah.
all right.
Thank
They'll
goodness.
Be fine.
this explains so much about poor Carter.
Yeah, Carter just did
Tossing him around.
Yeah, he just did all kinds
Poor
of stuff
second
that
kid.
we were always like, ooh, with Kylie, and now we're like, and he's generally okay, I think, so far. We'll see.
All right, so where'd you guys drive from today?
Warsaw, Gallatin County.
There you go. And where is that for those that maybe do not know Gallatin County right off?
Sitting here in Louisville, it's about halfway to Cincinnati, up 71. Kentucky Speedway, that's pretty much what gets everybody's attention.
That will make everybody remember.
Yeah.
RIP, Kentucky Speedway.
Fun story about Kentucky Speedway. I was at GSP. This is going to make me sound very young. I was at Governor Scholar at Bellarmine, and we went to the aquarium, Covington.
Yeah.
Because why would you not take a bunch of high school kids to an aquarium? But anyway, so they took us up there, and on the way back, we got stuck in Speedway traffic, and everyone from that area was like, nah, should have known that. Like, no surprise. All the rest of us were like, this must be a huge race. This must be crazy. They're like, nah, it's every time they have a race, it backs up.
Every time anything happens. Yeah.
Like, they were just unconcerned. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they use the median of the interstate as a parking lot every now and then. So.
There were guys going to get beverages out of other guys' coolers on the median, and I was like, all right.
We start tailgating now. That's a great idea.
At some point, we'll make it inside. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, cool. So you guys got a big announcement in the last couple months or weeks. Tell us a little bit about what you won. Why are you guys here today?
Outstanding Young Farm Family Contest for the Young Farmer Program. It's kind of something, we were on the committee for a few years and saw others compete, something that we had talked about for a few years. So, we couldn't compete while we were on the committee, but we'd watched it, thought it was a neat thing, and just we were aging out at the end of this year, and it was kind of like, do or die. It's our last chance. Yeah, so we gave it a try.
Very cool. Yeah. I think one thing that's, as the guy that's made the video for 20 years, I'm part of the video team. Every year, I think I've told you this, how many times a lot of young farmers would be like, I watched that video and we couldn't compete in that. There's no chance and all this stuff. And I'm like, just do it. I was like, I've been to your farm. It's like these, Was there any apprehension of like, could we really compete at this level? Did you have any of those kind of feelings before you kind of put your name out there?
I don't know. It feels weird. I said this in maybe traveling the bluegrass or whatever with Alan Watts, but it feels weird competing as a farm. That's not something we typically do and compete with other people in our field. It's kind of more just hey, we feel like we've done a good job with what we've tried to build here in the past 10 years. We'll take a chance and let somebody else see what we've done and see what they think of it.
Yeah. So what was how was it? Was it interesting kind of looking back? You do a little look back and kind of where you are now. How did that feel?
Oh, yeah. It's just interesting having you all come in and kind of, like Taylor was saying, kind of trying to showcase what we have going on and competing, I guess you would say, with other people who have they do such different things. So it's kind of not apples to oranges, but a little bit kind of like that. Like, how do you compare? Some people are so good in different fields that we don't even have that going on. So it's just interesting to see. You throw it all together. Luckily, you guys are so good at editing stuff and making everything look nice. So we kind of get to put our best foot forward with everything.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. We had to give a little speech. I thought about saying, when we were standing there at annual meeting, a big thank you to Matt Hilton and the crew because, they do phenomenal editing, make everything. I think they got the weeds out of the fields.
Yeah, Michael Corrigan and Austin Anderson do not get enough love for the work that happens on the back end. I kind of how I work is I set up the shoot, I show up, I do the interview and those things. Sure, they do all this work, and I'm working on the next thing. I'm setting up the next thing, and there's sometimes we come back from shoots, and not your alls, but some other shoots we come back and I'm like, we'll see how this one turns out. I don't know if I did my part all that good. And then they get done, I'm like, whoa, that's really good. Well done, So
they don't consider themselves ag people, but they will send me the video to check it. Like for mine, like Farmer of the Year is one of the ones I do. And they're like, all right, let us know if there's anything like doesn't look right. And I'm like, you guys are getting pretty good at this. Like not as many thistles in it. Like we kind of avoided the winter feeding area. Like I really don't have edits. I'm like, you guys might be becoming ag guys.
We've paid attention. That's what I told them too. They were both a little apprehensive. I probably bet, and like I was when I started. I'm not an ag guy. But what's cool about making videos and doing that kind of thing is you have to ask questions. You have to learn, you're kind of learning as you're making it yourself, And through time, I've learned that. I think sometimes because of my experience, I don't ask a question now because I kind of already know it. I have to keep reminding myself, like, no, ask that question because I got to have them say it, So, but your old place is great. I think your market to home delivery service is really cool. So yeah, you guys are very deserving. The hemp shots are super cool. From a video standpoint, the drone. That every time I see that just floating over that hemp, that was pretty slick. But yeah, so it was a pretty easy one to put together, actually, from what I could see. So.
Yeah, I do want to jump back for those that haven't seen the video or haven't met you guys. You guys do have a cool story. You didn't just grow up exactly in what you're doing at all. I don't think as a kid you would have ever thought you were growing probably half of the things you do now. Mm-hmm. So talk through maybe how you were both brought up as kids, and then why are we farming?
100%. I mean, both of our childhoods was athletics, playing sports. My dad's a coach. Her dad coached her the whole time she was growing up. Played a lot of basketball. I played a lot of golf. We both, baseball, softball. We spent our entire childhood playing sports of some sort. And, I did not grow up wanting to be a farmer. I think she most assuredly did not grow up wanting to be a farmer.
That was not on my bingo card.
But there's a lot of similarities. All of sports, hard work, getting better every day, perseverance. You do a whole lot of losing on your way to getting to where you can win games. Mm-hmm. And then starting farming, it's like a war of attrition. Every day is a difficult day, and you don't really get compensated until the end of the year. So that just toughness, the perseverance to go through all that. It's I don't know. It's neat. This competition you mentioned there a second ago, it kind of forces you to reflect back, and it's neat to see how that kind of first 20 years of both of our lives, cross references and correlates to what we do now.
Yeah.
So he yanked you into this?
I was drugged back.
Yeah, she was.
Which is all. I mean, I grew up in Owen County, so right next to where we live now. It's actually worked out so wonderfully. Now that we have children, just being close to my family and his family, but. My plan was to stay in Lexington after I graduated college, stay there. There's a lot of opportunity that the city has to offer. And yeah, I met Taylor and he kind of pulled me back home, which it's all, like I said, it's all worked out so well, being close to our families and now being on the farm. That was definitely something I had to think about, when we started dating, things kind of getting a little more serious. Am I comfortable with coming back home? And yeah. It's been good. Everything's been good.
Now, so in our videos, we like to highlight the whole family, okay?
Okay.
And everyone's kids are cute, okay? That little girl.
Shiloh Jones has her own personality.
Yeah, that girl, I was like, we're going to just record this girl. This is all we're doing. This kid is adorable.
We were
She's
watching.
the prettiest little thing. She's so fun.
Yeah, my mom and I were watching Eloise at Christmas with Shiloh yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh. This is Shiloh. This would be our kid could do this. This is the same personality, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's wild.
Yeah. She was a lot of fun. Once she learned the camera, she waved at us every time. Drove by in the tractor, she'd be like, hi, I see you, Yeah,
you should be glad because we have interviewed people where they're like, I don't know how they edited out the tears, but we drug X, Y, or Z, all these children. And they were like, one more shot, and there's just a sobbing pout. And they're like, I don't know how they got that shot. They had to have replaced their face with a different shot. I'm laughing. I'm like, so you should be glad your kid waved.
Yeah.
So what was her name? Mallory White, who's an FFA president. Mm-hmm. Mallory White was a 4-year-old having a tantrum when I was doing her dad's video years ago. And it was funny. We came back and actually did a story on her because she turned out to be an FFA president and all this thing. And we're standing there and we're doing, we have like a title shot. You all got to do that. We're standing there doing that at her family farm. And I looked up and it was one of the first Young Farm Family videos we ever did. And I look up and I go, you're the little girl that was
I know
losing
you.
her mind because you weren't allowed to be in the interview. And she goes, yeah, that's probably me. So I've been around long enough to see these people grow all the way up. But yeah, so I think that part's really fun. We always I think it's just showing off the regular Jonas of our farmers. I think people just don't get that it's like you walk out your back door and your farm's right there, and but while you're in that house, you're just parents. You're doing the sports. You're going to the whatever.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get your kid an education, do all the things that like everyone else is doing. So that's always fun to kind of highlight that as much as what you do on the farm.
I think that's one of the hallmarks of Farm Bureau. Really is putting that story of the regular Joe out there.
Yeah.
To where our legislators know, to where our media knows. Like that. That's what's affecting everyone, and get that story out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of stories, so we know y'all's upbringing, but your grandfather, correct, is the one that kind of had the farming, got you and your brother involved with the farming bug?
Yeah, so, kind of summertime, we showed sheep as kids, my brother, Zach, and I, and then that kind of translated to helping with tobacco, and then we graduated, and it's like, well, there's no more sports. What are we going to do? We went and worked on Grandpa's farm. And, pretty quickly, like, really enjoy doing this. You kind of, you fall in love with it. It's just something about it. It's like, it's an art. You get up every day. I mentioned earlier, you don't get compensated when you finish working ground or when you finish chopping weeds, but you get to the end of the day and you look back and you can see what you did. And that's what I fell in love with, is just that feeling of having done something good with my day, and immediately started looking for ways to make that what I did with my life. Was not really overwhelmed with possibilities. You're like, how am I going to do this? Not really looking very possible. And then had a class with Dr. Isaacs. A lot of people around the state are familiar with Dr. Isaacs at UK, my favorite professor. But we did an enterprise budget on fresh market tomatoes. And I remember finishing it, and I took it up to Dr. Isaacs, and I thought I'd done something wrong. She was like $8,000 the acre profit margin. On it. You can't make that on tobacco, or it's more like $8.80 on corn. So it was, and he said, yeah, that's right, but you're going to earn every penny of it. And I was like, oh, I'm up for that. I'll try anything to make $8,000. So my brother and I, that summer, we grew 278 tomato plants. That was his first summer out of high school. And things just kind of inch by inch from there. Sweet corn, watermelon kind of came into the operation. Tomatoes got bigger and bigger, and bought a farm, tobacco and cattle. And then 2016, hemp came along. Like I say, it's been an ever-evolving operation to be what it is today.
Yeah, we talk about diversity at Kentucky Farms. You're always have all that for sure from what we see when we came and visited. You guys are doing everything. You'll take on something just to try, right? I mean,
yeah. There's stress in that, but it's so much fun too. Like my brother and I think it really stresses my mom because she feels like we never get a status quo. We never do the same thing 2 years in a row, but that kind of keeps you from getting burnt out, gives you something to be excited about every year. So that's a lot of fun. We really enjoy that. Kind of this time of year, we're getting to that, all right, what are we going to do next year? You sit down and game plan that out and all that.
It's fun to kind of stay on your toes, and Taylor comes home and he's like, I had this plan today. Me and Zach talked about this, and then we talk about it, and just different things to implement, different things that you're like, wow, I had no idea that we would maybe go that direction with things. And a lot of, you kind of see it through, and it's fun at the end of the year to see like, oh, that worked, or that kind of worked, or hopefully that kind of breaks even.
Yeah.
We don't go the other way on it. That's a little, oh boy.
Yeah.
But
she'll keep me in check, so we're not doing that again next year, right?
But it's good to have, your brother, of course, is your partner, but your partner at home and in this farm, you guys having an understanding and being on the same page to try new things. Sometimes it is really hard, and you start having kids and you see those farm payments. Sometimes you kind of want the consistency, and I'm not saying you guys don't have consistency, but trying new things is hard. So it's got to be huge for you guys to have the support system that's like, yeah, no, we'll try it, but like we don't fail twice, okay?
Yeah. And sometimes there is definitely a lag there. You know, I might find out a little bit later. Sometimes it's like, oh, we've already ordered that. And I'm like, whoa, okay. That's what we're bringing up. Okay.
Just like any marriage, okay.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Some people, it's extra Amazon packages. Some people buy a whole couple pallets of plants.
Yeah, Taylor, you don't mention those packages on the back porch, and I won't mention
The sheep that showed up.
Literally, I'm like, where did these things come from? You mean we're doing sheep now? He's like, oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that when Shiloh's chasing them through the field?
Should have gotten fainting goats. That would have been much more entertaining for everyone. So I want to talk about home delivery because you guys, I would say, did it before it was cool. So why? What even brought that up? And then talk through somebody that's interested in that. That's pretty direct consumer interaction. So I always think people think of y'all's farm as so large and so diversified, but you guys get as small as you can come by doing this home delivery and talking to these customers. So, I mean, talk through that for me.
So the why was COVID. I think it was late March. You know, with our greenhouse tomato crop, we got big baseball-sized green tomatoes in late March. Our entire H2A contract is like 3 weeks from arrival. So the money's been spent, and a lot of outgoing money is about to happen. We called a lot of our markets, you know, the stores, the distributors, the people that we sell tomatoes to, and we're asking, you know, what's it looking like? And pretty much everybody said nothing. You know, maybe we're operating at 20% of normal capacity, and you know, it didn't take a genius to know if they're operating on slim margins, they don't have room for our overpriced tomato. You know, they're sticking with their Mexico tomato this year.
Yeah.
So we just kind of sat down, had a little think about it, and it was Zach's idea. He said, well, you know, everybody's getting everything delivered. You know, let's just deliver our tomatoes to people's houses. We'll, you know, probably won't go crazy on amount, but we'll make it up on price. So ironically, in a time that you were supposed to be staying away from everyone, we rounded up the high school basketball team, and we went to some pretty densely populated neighborhoods about 30 miles from our house and went and posted flyers on everybody. Total solicitation of neighborhoods, but we went and posted flyers on people's doors, and it worked unbelievably well. I mean, it was like in 2 weeks' time, we had 400 customers, which
wow,
you know, for CSA business, that's a big number.
Yeah.
And you know, totally flying by the seat of our pants on year one. We did that, built a website, got a new phone, or actually that year one, I just got some app that gave my phone a different phone number. It's like we're running this business because, you know, you don't want all those customers or everybody you advertise to have your own phone number, but sold all these packages, and then between May and July, when we were going to start delivering, figured out how in the world we were going to, you know, we found a logistics app. But it was a lot of trial by learning, you know, learning trial and error, and it worked out. Customers were satisfied. Year two, I think year two we went to like 900 customers, and wow, it's grown and evolved. We had around little over 1,400 customers for a few years, serviced all the local steel mills employees. And since then, we're starting to evolve to less of a subscription and fixed product, kind of trying to offer more of a specific online store. So like, you know, if Renee Carrico or Matt Hilton wants tomatoes next weekend, they just have to order by Monday at noon, and you get them on Thursday or Friday.
Right.
You know, Hannah's had quite a bit of fun, and that's really a lot of what we love about the business right now. Is it's something that can apply to both us at the farm, but our wives and our daughters too. You know, you talk about the plan for moving on the next generation. Right now, we have 2 girls. My brother and his wife have 2 girls. That's not your stereotypical succession plan for a farm, but the home delivery business gives us an opportunity. You know, if they want to grow flowers, we've got a ready-made market for it. It's great way to incorporate that. Hannah and Mackenzie, the lady that helps us with the business, you can talk about your all's simmer pots, but she just had an idea recently. Hey, I like simmer pots. Makes the house smell good. Let's make them and sell them.
Yeah. So, pretty much that. Just had the idea, thought it would be a good thing. Reason, like a little gift that's not too expensive, that we can kind of add, just something different. Since we're trying to kind of diversify, like Taylor said, have more of like a store, online store kind of option. So, Mackenzie and I just got together. We made them right in my kitchen. Kind of got all the materials together, gathered the pine from our yard and put them together, made them. Had a lot of fun doing it, and we've sold a couple, which has been cool.
And the customers, we're getting great feedback, which you kind of asked in your question, what is that side of that business like? And that's...
Taylor's very focused on like the beef, doing the beef, which are good. And then I kind of like the more women, maybe gifty kind of side of things. And I'm like, no, I think you need to incorporate this. Like, this is a seller. People like this stuff. Like, it's not just me. People like this stuff. So,
and that's it's neat to learn the consumers, learn about their families, learn what's important to them. Because, at the end of the day, we're farming, we're growing food for them, or we're making household decorative items. But whatever we do is all about that customer. And it's about their happiness and their satisfaction. And it's really neat. It's a neat level of farming to have such an interaction with your customer. Can be very frustrating, I'll admit, but it is very neat to know what makes them happy. What puts a smile on their face when that food goes into their kitchen. So it's a little bit different than, weaning some steers and taking them to the stockyards.
But it's also been neat too. Like, we've met more people, more local people that we're sourcing our stuff from. Eggs, chicken. Taylor had a fraternity brother that had turkeys from this year at Thanksgiving. Like, just some neat options for people who value having farm fresh that maybe don't know where to go to get it, or don't want to make that drive out, across the state to go source this turkey for Thanksgiving. And, we'll bring it right to you.
Yeah.
It's good for everyone.
Yeah. That's something that's very new and very recent to us, kind of going back to learning our families, learning what's important to them. We do quite a bit of surveying. What are you happy with? What would you like to see different? And an unbelievable amount of people were interested in eggs, honey. We don't do eggs or honey. So the next survey we sent out, what would you think about us selling other people's stuff? And, we'd always thought that would be a turnoff to our customers, but it really, very, very favorable, and we advertise that, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've built that trust. So if you're vouching, this is a farmer that I like their stuff, this is good stuff that I would put in our box and bring to your home. It's probably a little bit of that. They just trust you, right?
And that's something that we try to place an enormous emphasis on.
Yeah.
These are not our eggs, but it is our name that's saying these are good eggs. And, we don't take that lightly and try to do a very good job of making sure our customers get the absolute best that we can find.
Well, that big logistics problem that you had when you first decided to do this, and you're like, oh, we got to actually get it to everybody. That's an advantage to you now that these other farmers don't have, that you're used to it. You know how this works. You're already going to someone's house and you just put that one little product in there. I'm sure that's an advantage to this, right?
Big deal. Yeah. It's a lot of produce buyers will refer to broadening the menu. If you're already taking tomatoes to the store, you might as well take cucumbers and peppers and watermelons. The truck's still going there.
Yeah.
Same deal with the house.
Yeah.
If you're going there, you might as well take them all that they're interested in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shift gears a little bit because we talked very heavily, sort of. The labor piece is very involved in this portion as well. I think for the most part, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when people think of H-2A, migrant labor, pick however you want to call it, they think of tobacco, they think of dairies, they think of a lot of things that are very kind of daily intensive. And a lot of people at Farm Bureau have really been pushing the fact that some of our guys that utilize the most regular H-2A labor, especially in Kentucky, aside from tobacco and hemp, maybe is going to be those guys that are doing horticulture. And so those vegetable products in different pieces. So talk through maybe, and you from a non-farm perspective, having those guys there, having that community vibe of you guys are the same guys that come back regularly. Talk about how that is having kids there now. How does that feel having those guys around and the work that they do?
So Shiloh loves our guys. She calls them the amigos. We call them the amigos. She likes going and starting her day a lot with Taylor. If he, knows that he can take her in the morning. So she'll go with him in her PJs, run out there, and she likes bossing him around, telling him what to do.
Or the one day in her birthday suit.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. Almost all of our guys, honestly, have been with us, with Taylor longer. Obviously, I came into the picture a little bit after everything. It kind of got started a little bit, but they've been with us since the first year. And I think that speaks a lot to Taylor and what Taylor and Zach have going on their farm, that they want to come back, because it's not, as simple as us saying, you have to come back. They have to want to come back to our operation as well. And even, the guys that we started with have branched out and they want to bring other of their family members with them as well, or cousins, or, So that's been good. I mean, you have one or two families of guys that come and have brought other family members with them through the H2A program, and we have them all there. So it's like another family that we have along with our family. So it all kind of blends and it works. We're very appreciative of them. We couldn't do what we do without them. We literally could not. We couldn't do it. And they work hard, and they're good for us. We really appreciate them.
Yeah, I mean, they're the most valuable asset on the farm. There's no doubt about that. But Hannah said they're like family. They are. It's kind of no secret, right? There's a lot of legislative stuff going on around hemp right now, and it's very good for our farm. But anything that's good for our farm is good for our workers and their families, and we've kind of started having those conversations, and, it hurts. It kind of puts a lump in your throat when you express to them that next year might look a little different. Yeah. And you can see in their eyes, I take a lot of pride in the fact that I think they have confidence in me to figure something out, but our operation means it's their lifeline just the same as it is ours. Yeah. And it's just, I think that's very unique about farming is in terms of industry, but it's a family-run thing. And although they don't share the same last name as us, or, we're not kin blood-wise, but it's just one big family making the operation go.
Yeah, I think you guys have some stories of the impact when these guys do go home. This is the money that they're investing in their community and their families and those things. So you could speak to that a little bit. That there's a whole side of this that people just don't quite understand is when these guys do actually go home in the off seasons and those things. What did that impact on that end, right?
Yeah, as far as the dollars that they earn here are greatly changing the trajectory of their family's future at home.
Right.
And it in a way it's kind of it just to be blunt, it can be kind of sad. We've had some of our guys, they really invest in their kids' future. That they're earning a lot of money working in America at our farm, and so incredibly proud that their kids not only have the ability to finish school, but also that they refer to, we would say go to college. They say, my kid's going to go to university. Mm-hmm. And that's a big deal to them. Yeah. A lot of the guys that are over the age of 40 maybe went to 4th, 5th grade and started working. And now they're having the opportunity to kind of change their family's future such that they're finishing primary school, they're finishing secondary, which is, that's what they refer to: elementary, middle school, primary, secondary, and then university. But what's available in Mexico, that culture, we're getting these these kids that have graduated from university, they're qualified to be an accountant. They've got computer skills, law. The most profitable thing for them to do is to come work on our farm. And, that's something I don't know that we appreciate here in America, how well we have it. But you're looking at people that are qualified to be accountants and lawyers and computer tech, and yet they're still so grateful to pick tomatoes. It's interesting, and you get into their family dynamic, and we want to do for them to make their life better, just like they're working so incredibly hard to help us make our life what it is.
Yep.
Well, I think it's always good. This is the time of year, if you're friends with farmers on Facebook that do have labor from outside the country, normally there's a Thanksgiving meal or a Christmas meal, or you're taking a picture of them flying home. And I think some people say, oh, well, it's just a Facebook post. I don't think people understand that there's a lot of times the kid behind that camera, behind mom's leg, is crying because that feels like their uncle's leaving. Those are like family. And so I always think it's helpful for listeners to hear this is not just a work source. You guys have kids. They're out there. These are trusted individuals in your household. And so I think it'll get a lot of buzz. We're going into an election year. There's always things about farm labor, but I just always want to give you all a chance to show how important these people are, not just from a workforce perspective, but like they are family. And I think that's really neat. And so we appreciate what you guys do when it comes to the ag labor space. Tim Thornberry did a story. I've probably mentioned it before on the podcast, but he did a story and talked to different farms and talked to actually one of those guys that came over. And so I know you guys did one of them. I believe Larry Clark did one. We had a couple of guys that were like, no, it's almost going to be hard to pick which one does it, because they all want to talk. They want to tell you how much they love being here. And this is not coaxed. I'll walk away if you want me to. We can, because you're our language help. But it's very cool to have those stories. And so anyway, just from some of those stories, I knew you guys were very passionate, so I wanted to give you a chance to share. But I think it'd be crazy if we didn't at least give you a chance to explain hemp. Just because I think for a lot of our listeners, they've probably not heard about it, or only heard about it in a bad light years ago. Maybe the far purchase area guys probably have a bad taste in their mouth. And so talk to us about what is hemp, what do you grow, and why is that important for you guys?
Yeah, so thanks, Renee. It's it's basically come to be the most profitable enterprise on our operation. Unbelievably similar production model when compared to tobacco. We're pretty decently sized burley tobacco history on our farm. It's almost identical just about a month later in every step of the process. You seed plants or you clone plants a little later than you would tobacco. Setting it in the field happens June 15th through July 15th. You're chopping weeds, you check for males instead of topping, and then you cut it, you take it to the barn and dry it, and then you strip it. That would be an opposite from tobacco. You get tobacco in case, high moisture or the correct moisture. Hemp needs to be dry. But for us, we started really small and grew. Good friend of mine gave advice, don't ever risk something in hemp that you can't afford to lose. That was the best advice we ever got. We followed that. It kept us afloat and kept us in hemp. Fortunately for us, we grew in 16, 17, and 18. Everybody who has a bad story about hemp, a bad memory, bad taste in their mouth, they would be referencing 2019. Everybody grew hemp in 2019. And, I'm not going to tell you that we saw what happened coming, but we definitely respected the possibility that we're exponentially, not tenfold, we're like 100-fold increasing production. In any other crop, that would have a bad result. So we kind of respected that a little bit, did some things to safeguard ourselves in 2019, kind of structured our contracts to get some money up front. And then those relationships that were built in 16, 17, and 18, basically at break even or maybe a fuzz beneath. And Maybe a fuzz beneath, but
As he looks at his wife.
It's the only time I want video in this podcast.
It's a video moment right there for sure.
But no, we stayed in 20 and 21, and then it kind of got back to decent profitability in 22 and 23, and then 24 and 25 have been really good, and it's been exciting to see it grow. To see actual consumers consuming an end product. There's markets in multiple states, and it's uncertain where the future of it is legislatively. Obviously, horrible past month for hemp legislatively. Kind of hearing some rumblings that there might be some people going to battle for us on that. We hope so. But it's just... it was on trajectory to be for our state of Kentucky what tobacco used to be. And in our state, the landscape, in the western part of the state, we've got some row crop opportunities, but a lot of our state is made up of 10-acre fields, 5-acre fields, families that have a 100-acre farm with 40 cows, and they want to, help that. And something that you can make money growing 5, 6, 7, 10 acres is a good thing for our state. So I hope it finds its way, and we really enjoy doing it. So
It's just a neat crop. I think a lot of people, all they remember is the bad because, quite frankly, that's what made the news. When things were good, it maybe had a story here or there, but they didn't make headlines. So the headlines, we've talked about this before, a lot of times are bad news. And so I just thought it was a good time to bring it up. I know it's not a wonderful time when it comes to legislation in that situation, so I hate that we had to in that time frame, but it's a neat crop. I appreciate you, and there's a couple others that have kind of made this grower cohort almost of working together and talking through the woes and learning how to grow this. And it's all good farmers. It's just a little bit different of a crop. So it's been cool to watch you guys kind of reconnect and some young farmers taking the lead in some of these conversations, whether that's in Kentucky or in DC. So that's been really cool. So I wanted to give you a chance at that and let us talk through that. But I think we should round out, though. We're going to Anaheim. Mm-hmm. How does that feel? We're going to California.
Yeah, we're excited. So excited to go. We're going to take the girls. I don't know if you all know, Taylor actually really hates to fly. So
sorry. Maybe not the best thing to end on.
We're going to take a train.
Oh, really?
Through the Wild Wild West. Yeah.
it's actually something that I've always wanted to do. I do not like to fly, but
so everyone say a prayer for us. We'll be on the train with our 2-year-old and our 7-month-old for a few days. Stuck.
It's probably one of our favorite hobbies together. And a lot of times it's looking at crops, but we love taking back roads. We love around Louisville, 60, wherever 60 goes from Louisville. But at home it's 42, 127. We love getting off the interstate. Mm-hmm. And a train to California is basically like going from here to there on the back road.
I will say Taylor and I went, I think, twice now from Colorado type back to Kentucky back roads. We've done that. We've flown out before. Didn't want to take the flight back. Yeah. So we got a rental car and
yeah.
So no, but it is exciting. It's going to be cool. Oh yeah. We're trying to make the most of the trip. Obviously, Farm Bureau always puts on such a great event. We just kind of wanted to add our own little thing to it. Yeah. Hopefully make some good memories with the girls. We're going to take my parents to help out, while we're out there doing our thing with the events and all that we have. Hopefully a lot going on out there. Yeah.
Probably mix in a day at Disney.
We'll do Disney, yeah.
Yeah, here it's right there. Yeah, I don't know if you know.
Word on the street.
Word on the street is it's right there. So
somebody did ask me what's the dress code, and I said, "Is it not Disney casual?" And they went, "Ooh, Renee, it's gonna be really hard to see the speaker if there's like 70 sets of ears in the general section."
With how we work in Farm Bureau, I'm shocked that there's not a Mickey shirt with with the Farm Bureau logo in one of the circle. Like I was talking about the
I hear an opportunity.
Does Todd Bright listen to this?
He probably is listening to it, and we'll have it by the end of the week. But we haven't put a logo on this. This has blown my mind. So yeah. But yeah, we're excited for you. What I always like is Kentucky competes at these things. I know you talked about. I don't know why we're competing, but we're all cheering for you. We go down there, we go to these places, and we keep up. We keep up just fine in these competitions, and I think y'all got a good shot. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's something we've talked about. It's with our sports background, you're always you represent your county, and that means so much to you. Probably a once in a lifetime opportunity for us to represent our state as a whole. So it's really exciting, and hope we represent well.
Yeah, we talk a lot of trash to the other state farm bureaus
That's what we like.
for you guys. So we got your back. We
have like 70 Taylors here. We can have them paint up for you in the back. That would make you guys feel more at
all
home.
the Taylors cheering on Taylor. We do have a lot of Taylors in the farm bureau.
And all of them would be appalled that I just said they would paint up. So I just love that we did this. But we won't keep you guys much longer. I think we have a whole day of prep for you all. But this podcast comes out before you officially do the competition. So hopefully we're bringing you back in being champs. But we can't thank you enough. We made a big day out of this, but appreciate you guys coming to the office and visiting with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
A lot of fun.
All right. Thank you, Taylor and Hannah, and thank you, listeners. Be sure to subscribe and listen to some of our older episodes, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Rural.